The Young and the Restless Monday, October 4 update. Phyllis Gaslights Sharon, Nick takes charge, and Sally makes Billy wait. The Young and the Restless, Y and R, spoilers update for Monday, October 4, reveals that Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, will nearly hit the sheets in a bedroom upstairs of the Abbott house. Unfortunately, Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, will return for the phone she left behind and see Claire's purse nearby. Once Summer calls out to Kyle and Claire, it'll pump the brakes on their sizzling session. There'll be some tension as Kyle comes down and basically tries to convey that what's happening upstairs is his business. Since Kyle's shirt will be unbuttoned, it'll no doubt confirm things for Summer. However, Summer will sell a story about how she thought Harrison Abbott, Redding Munsell, might be ill from Halloween goodies since Claire stayed so late. After Kyle gets rid of Summer, he'll put his attention back on Claire. Alas, the moment will have passed by then, so Claire will hold off on making love with Kyle for the first time. Kyle will be understanding about the delay and let Claire know that he'll be there when she's ready to take that step. Our Y&R predictions point to Summer causing more issues along the way, so stick with us for updates on all the shocking news to come. Over drinks at Society, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, will make a pact to avoid talking about anything too serious. The result will be corny jokes, coin magic tricks, and mildly humiliating stories about Sally and Billy's pasts. When Billy suggests a nightcap in Sally's room, she'll turn him down with a not yet, though they'll be on the same page about enjoying getting to know each other. At the coffee house, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, will try to rattle Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, with Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Grazietti, as a witness. Although Phyllis will claim she knows what Sharon did and has proof, Sharon will try to hide her panic and will act like that's impossible since there's no evidence to uncover. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, will listen to the tail end of Phyllis' confrontation with Sharon, and he'll keep listening once Phyllis stomps out. Sharon will do her best to convince Daniel that she's not to blame for Heather Stevens' veil bloom, demise, and will accuse Phyllis of acting even crazier than she normally does. Once Daniel is gone, Nick will quiz Sharon about what happened. When Nick questions the proof Phyllis claimed to have, Sharon will wonder if he believes she's guilty now. Nick will assure Sharon that's not the case, so she'll be relieved about that. Sharon will also have a plan to deal with Phyllis and will think this calls for a restraining order. Nick will advise against it since Phyllis and her loved ones are already dealing with enough as it is. Plus, Sharon would just look guilty, like she was trying to stop Phyllis from digging into things. Nick will reiterate that he believes Sharon's innocent, but he'll still push her to stand down on this restraining order plan. Instead, Nick will intend to talk to Phyllis and handle her himself. At the GCAC, Phyllis will talk to Daniel and Summer about her gaslighting scheme, and this proof she doesn't actually have. The goal will be to get Sharon to crack by setting a trap, but Summer and Daniel will have plenty of reservations. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will do whatever it takes to prove Sharon is guilty, so stay tuned. The autumn sun cast a warm golden glow over Geno City as Monday morning unfolded, illuminating a city as full of secrets as it was with ambition. At Crimson Lights, the tension simmered beneath the scent of freshly brewed coffee and pumpkin spice lattes. Sharon Newman leaned against the counter, pretending to read the morning's order slips, but her eyes darted towards the door every few seconds. Something was coming. She could feel it in the pit of her stomach. Just then, Phyllis Summers breezed in, her confidence crackling like static electricity. Her striking red hair seemed almost ablaze under the sunlight as she approached Sharon with a smile that did not reach her eyes. "Good morning, Sharon," Phyllis said, drawing out the greeting with the precision of a cat stalking its prey. Sharon glanced up, trying to mask her unease with a polite smile. "Phyllis, what a surprise. What brings you here this early?" "Oh, you know me," Phyllis said, waving a manicured hand dismissively. "I'm always where the action is. And speaking of action, I heard Nick might be making some big decisions. Isn't it funny how things have a way of getting interesting whenever Nick is at the center of them?" Sharon's jaw tensed imperceptibly. Phyllis had a knack for poking at sore spots, and Nick Newman, the man they had both loved and lost in various ways, was a shared wound. Today, Phyllis's pointed observation felt less like idle gossip and more like an accusation wrapped in casual conversation. Phyllis leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Isn't it strange how sometimes people say they've moved on, but they're still tangled up in their past? It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about where their loyalties really lie?" Sharon's eyes met Phyllis's, and for a split second, they were both unmasked. Two women whose pasts were knotted with betrayals, lies, and half-kept promises. Sharon straightened her back, pulling herself away from the magnetic pull of Phyllis's manipulative charm. But Phyllis wasn't done. "It must be exhausting," Phyllis said with a tone that was too light to be genuine, keeping up appearances, pretending not to care. "But then again, you've had a lot of practice, haven't you, Sharon?" Sharon's eyes narrowed. "What are you trying to say, Phyllis?" "Oh, nothing," Phyllis said, her grin widening as she sipped her cappuccino, a slight gleam in her eyes. "Just making conversation." Across town at Newman Enterprises, Nick Newman's mind was a battlefield. The weight of family loyalty clashed with his fierce need for independence. Sitting behind his father's monolithic desk, Nick felt the legacy of Victor Newman like a stone pressing on his chest. Today was the day he would either step deeper into the family's shadow or carve out a space entirely his own. "Nick, are you sure about this?" Victoria's voice, sharp and commanding, echoed from the speakerphone. She had called the moment she heard whispers of his intentions to take charge of the company's latest, highly ambitious project, a venture that would either secure the Newmans' dominance or shake their foundations. "Yes, I am," Nick said, resolute but weary. "I know what I'm doing, Victoria." There was a pause, and then a sigh. "I hope so, for all our sakes. Don't underestimate the stakes here." The call ended, leaving Nick alone with his thoughts. But not for long. "Mind if I interrupt?" Sally Spectra's voice was a blend of playful and calculating as she stepped into the room. Her entrance was as bold as her crimson jacket, which seemed to echo her relentless ambition. Nick looked up, his expression softening slightly at the sight of Sally. She was a wild card, unpredictable and driven in a way that reminded him of the younger version of himself. "Let me guess," Nick said, raising an eyebrow. "You're here to pitch your newest grand idea."